me just do this real quick. Hey guys, it's your radio host, Lady P. This is the New Relationship Show where we talk about relationship issues from the male and female standpoint. We are super excited today. We're going to start. This is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to all of you that are watching us. We're going to start with the Battle of the Sexes. As you can tell, you guys in Radio Land can't tell, so I'm just going to tell you, hey, Jay, thank you. So I'm wearing my blue because Team Blue did win, and they got the month of January, and I did say I would wear blue today, and I'm not hating on them, so I'm wearing my blue to congratulate them on their win, because that's what good sportsmanship looks like. I'm just saying. But anyway.
That sounds good. That sounds good to me.
What I was explaining to them, Jamian, is that for this episode, we're going to allow them 2 lifelines. One, the usual, which is what we do, but they have the option if they're on the Facebook live stream, or if you have your mate anywhere by you, since you two are married people on the show, you can ask your mate to help you with the answer. If you're not sure, you can have the one lifeline from us, and then, so just to give you a little special thing for Valentine's Day. So, we're doing a little something for you. So, we're going to actually start with Team Pink tonight because, you guys did win January. So, in that, we're going to go first. So, Jamian.
Okay, we'll allow it.
What's
that?
Wait, what you
What
say,
are we
Ben?
doing?
I said we'll allow it.
Oh, well, did you want to go first?
No.
Oh, I usually, you always want Team Pink to go first, so that's why I said it. But, it's your choice since you won last month.
Being that it's Valentine's Day, yeah, we'll let the ladies go first.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay, so, Jamian, you got the first question for Team Pink?
Sure.
Okay.
You want me to read these exactly as they're written?
Yes. Why did I write them funny? Are they written funny?
Between
Oh,
the ages.
okay, Jesus. You knew that. Okay, when you read it, I saw that it was a typo. Yes, you can correct the typos as you read the questions, please.
No. I want it to be authentic. I don't want you to have no excuses.
It's okay. We understand. I don't even know why I didn't even get that typo when I sent it. Should do a spell check, but okay.
Between the ages of 26 to 50, good Lord.
Wow.
The average male loses 26 pounds of what?
And her options
You
are...
got that?
Okay.
Well, wait, see if you got the question.
Oh,
Hold
I'm
on
sorry.
I got the question.
I'm sorry.
Look.
Before I say a smart
You can
answer,
just
I
kick
give you
back.
my answer.
I got you. No, but Lady P can just kick back. Let me handle these questions.
I'm
All right.
back.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So the options are 26 pounds of muscle, 26 pounds of fat, or 26 pounds of hair. You want your 10 seconds?
Wow.
10 seconds, please.
DJ?
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The options were hair, body, and what?
What?
Wait, you broke up. What were you saying?
What were the options again? Hair.
Okay, I feel like you should have asked me that before the 10 seconds was over.
Well, she probably
It
couldn't
seems like
hear.
you're stalling.
I'm gonna go.
Wait, make sure you know what your options are first. Jamie, can you please tell her what
Seems
her
like she's
options are?
stalling a little bit.
Nope,
I'm
my
just
hands are right
saying.
here.
What do you got 10 seconds for if we just going all right.
I do it for you
All right,
guys
so-
all the time.
No. Answer
Let me handle this.
Okay, I'll give you my
A,
answer.
muscle.
Okay.
A, muscle, B, fat, or C, hair.
Muscle.
Do you need another 10 seconds?
No, she just said her
Muscle.
answer. Repeat your answer, please.
Muscle.
Oh, sorry to hear.
She said, say your answer so he can say I didn't say that you. Go ahead, repeat your answer, please.
Muscle.
She said muscle.
That was correct.
All right. If you didn't know from the long sound effect that she just played, yeah, that was right.
Just making sure we all know.
And the game of baseball. Baseball, that's, with the big bat.
The bat's
Running the
not
bases.
that big. The bat's not that big, but I'm just saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Really?
Look, you need to date better dudes, and I don't know what to tell you. Oh,
That's why I said, really?
Oh,
okay.
Jesus. Okay.
In the game of baseball, in what inning do you stretch? You got that?
Okay.
Okay, options are A, 7th, B, 8th, or C, 9th. Even though there's no C by 9th, I'm going to assume it's C.
Oh, my Jesus, Jamie Ann.
Give her 10
I'm just,
seconds.
I'm looking,
Hey.
I can only go about what I got. Do you want your 10 seconds?
No, repeat those answers again. You said, what was A?
7th, 8th, or 9th, basically. 7th, 8th, or 9th inning.
Okay. I'm going to go
Do you need 10
7.
seconds, or do you know the
You
answer?
gonna go with what?
I'm going to say 7.
What's your answer?
7.
Okay.
That was your sound
All right,
effect.
last
I
one.
watch a little TV.
Question
All right, last one. Okay, so how often should you change the air in your tires? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it A, once a year, B, never at all, or C, once a month?
And you can use your lifeline with this since you haven't used it yet.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just telling her how the game works. I'm just saying.
I need you to
Been doing
kick
this
back.
game, so she should know.
She can use her lifeline if she
You
would.
can. If you don't know, use the lifeline. If you know the answer, just say it.
But
Or do
Give
you
me
need
my
10
life.
seconds?
I think so, but give my lifeline.
okay, that was a wise
Wait,
choice.
are
She
you
said
using
she's
your
using her
husband, or you
lifeline.
But she got two lifelines. I'm saying she want to use her husband, or she using.
She
I'd
knows
like to
what
see
the
somebody
lady
use the
needs.
new lifeline.
Which one?
I
you
want to
going
see
with,
somebody
me?
use the new lifeline.
Okay, sorry. Did you want me to be your lifeline, Nan?
Huh.
Huh?
Hold on. I got interrupted. The phone call came.
Oh, do you want me to be your lifeline? Is what Jamian is asking you. Since
No,
you
I
have
want to see
options,
somebody use the new lifeline.
but there's
Can
no
you hear-
one. Yes, she wants to use me as her lifeline. Why are you trying to trip her up?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hey, Wayne,
You got.
call your daughter. She keeps calling my phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So as using me for the lifeline, which was an awesome decision because this
No, it
really, the answer is never.
What's the
And
point? What's the point of having a new lifeline if we never get to see it?
well, well, Ben has the option of using it. But here's the thing. The question to me was a trick question, and I'm glad you used the lifeline because it would almost
I'm gonna
sound
say
like
never because
how often
I
you
fill
should
it up when
change
it's
your
low.
tires, and it's how often you should change the air in your tire, where the answer is B, never. So great choice. That means we've got all correct for Team Pink. Yay! One yay there.
Hey, Lady P, who's the one that created these questions?
They were actually in a game packet, so I didn't come up with
okay.
them by myself. They were actually part of a game that I have that I choose the questions from. So, Ben, are you ready for your questions? Now, remember, let me share with you because Jamie wanted me to not let you forget that you do have two lifelines. One is Jamie, and the other one would be either your wife or if you're logged into the live stream and you see anyone that commented the correct answer, you can choose one of their answers as well. So just so you're aware.
Well, the live streaming is kind of slow, so I can't rely on that.
Oh, well, there's always your wife. It is Valentine's Day. She might help you out. I'm just saying. You know, or you
She
can
might be mad he's playing a game.
She's busy what she's supposed to be doing, cooking.
Oh, you know what? Charlene, I'm calling you. Where you at? Don't let Ben do you like that.
I might have to distance myself from Team Blue on that one.
Oh, my Jesus. Yeah, exactly.
I might,
Naomi.
I might have to distance myself from Team Blue.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, clean it
that was
up.
bad, Ben.
Because, woo, that was bad. So, hi, Naomi. We're just finishing up. Oh, she went away? Okay. So.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so Team Blue, first question is this, Ben. Which fashion designer created the now infamous sequined pointy bras worn by Madonna? Your options are, and I may have an issue with the pronunciation, so Jamin, feel free to help me if I'm pronouncing any of these names incorrect. Option A,
You think I know how to say them?
Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Gaultier.
You see how you know? Now, how did I know you knew? Gaultier. So Jean-Paul Gaultier. B, Dolce and Gabbana, if I'm saying that right? No?
Dolce.
Oh,
Dolce.
Dolce and...
Where do you shop?
I don't. Dolce and Gabbana, if I'm saying Gabbana right. And number C, I know that one, Christian Dior. So those are your three options. Which fashion designer created the now infamous...
If you don't know Ben, use a lifeline. Don't waste it.
And
You
that's
got
what I'm
two of
going to do. And that's what I'm going to use my lifeline.
Which life you going to go with,
so
Jamie?
this one your wife would know, or you need my help?
I need your help.
Okay, Jamie.
All right, well, we're going to go with Mr. Gaultier.
Mr. Gaultier, Jean-Paul Gaultier, made the pointy. Remember that video? Was it the Vogue? The Vogue video? Where she had the... Okay. Anyway, that was correct.
Yay!
The now infamous pointy bra. Okay, so it's question 2, Ben. Which of these fabrics is see-through? Okay? So we're looking...
Which of the fabrics
is
is
see-through.
see-through?
Your options are this: A, Chanel, B, chiffon, or C, silk.
You know how to pronounce them, huh?
I know about my fabrics. I may not know about my fashion designers and pointy bras because I'm not into pointy bras. I'm just saying. But just sharing that, you know.
Okay, hold on. Repeat the question and the options again.
The question.
Y'all.
Because, you know, back in the day, they used to wear them pointy ones, and then now they got the more natural. I'm just saying, but anyway.
That was the old lady one.
Huh? What happened?
The old lady bra.
Yeah, they were pointy. Because I remember my aunties used
like
to have
the 30s.
the pointy ones, but that was way before Madonna Day that they had them pointy ones. But anyway, which of these fabrics, Ben, is see-through? Your options are A, Chanel, Chanel, B, chiffon, C, silk. And I need your hands, please. Would you like your 10
What do you think you're doing?
type in the question. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Ben, don't listen to her, Ben. You do what you gotta do.
Wait, 10 seconds.
10, 9,
Come on, Ben.
8,
Boy,
7,
you better
6,
get this.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Come on, Ben.
1.
What's your answer? What you
If
got?
you don't know, call your wife.
He said she busy cooking. You knew that was gonna
What's
come.
one of the answers? Did you say chiffon?
Chiffon,
What's-
Chanel, chiffon, silk.
She said chiffon, Ben.
Chiffon.
Chiffon. Is that your final answer? And you
Yeah.
can straighten.
Yes, it's his final answer.
You can straighten your face, Jamie.
Yay!
Good choice.
Yes,
Good
this is
choice.
your final answer.
Okay. So your last question is this. Which cosmetic company uses the slogan, maybe she's born with it, maybe it's, and your options are A, Max Factor, B, Maybelline, C, Yardley.
Wow.
Ben, if you don't know, ask your wife.
She's cooking, he done said. And because
Go
he,
in the kitchen
look,
and
and
interrupt
because
her.
he said that,
I'm gonna-
Charlene,
I'm
I
gonna-
wouldn't even
I'm
help
gonna
him.
use- I'm going to use my option here. So I'll call my wife.
Charlene, don't help him because he was
Okay.
talking about you. Call her because I want to tell her what you said.
Excuse
too.
me.
Charlene.
Excuse me, no.
Yeah, I'm
No.
going to tell her what he said.
No, Lady P.
Yes, I'm
This is
telling.
not about you.
I'm
This is
telling.
not about you.
I'm telling.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is undue interference.
He said it. I
Tell her
didn't
to hurry
say
up,
it.
Ben.
Hold up a
Wait,
bit.
'cause I need to talk to her before she tell you the answer.
No, you don't.
Yes, I
No,
do.
you don't. Nope. Talk to her after the show.
Oh, he's gonna go away and ask her so she can't tell her what he said. Okay, so I guess I better come up with a tiebreaker because if she give him the right answer, we're going into a tie. Okay, I got a tiebreaker, so we
You're
good.
supposed to have the tiebreakers already.
Well, because we haven't really had to go into a tie, so I haven't really been having them. And the last time I had some ready was like around Christmas time, so they were related to Christmas. I guess I should have a Valentine's Day tiebreaker. But if I don't have
That
enough
would be
time to
nice.
think about that. So anyway, watch her give him the wrong answer to serve him right, and then we won't need a tiebreaker.
I hope you give her the right question.
So what's so you used your lifeline, Ben. You didn't allow me to talk to her first. So I'm going to call her after the show and tell her.
Give her the question and the options.
Wait, is she right there?
She's right there.
Charlene, hi,
Yeah.
baby. Let me before you help
Happy
it.
Valentine's.
Hey.
No.
Before
Stop it,
you,
Lady P.
How are you?
Stop it.
Good,
Stop it. No.
good.
You
So-
just ask her the question. Just ask her the question.
Okay.
Just
So
ask her the question.
So in this question, he's allowed to use a lifeline, and he's using you for his lifeline. So here's the question.
Okay.
Which cosmetic company uses the slogan, maybe she's born with it, maybe it's blank? The choices are A, Max Factor, B, Maybelline, C, Yardley.
What's the third one?
Yardley.
I am. You can tell I don't use makeup.
All right, let's do this countdown.
So just pick one.
Just rely on Ben. Rely on
I was-
Ben.
The third one was Dudley, right? Dudley?
Yardley.
No, it's
Yeah.
Yardley. It was Yardley.
Repeat the options again.
Why, you been Googling? The options
No, I
are
think
A, Max
He's sitting there
Factor.
with his wife. How you gonna be doing
Okay, A, Max Factor, B, Maybelline, C, Yardley.
Ben, come on.
Jamie, and
I'll
stop
go-
trying
I'll
to
go-
give him the answer. So what you think?
Yeah.
He's saying his name.
What you think,
I'll go
baby?
Maybelline. I'm just doing a wild guess. Maybelline?
Come on now.
Yay!
Because it goes, maybe she's born with it, or maybe it's Maybelline. So yes, that was correct. But
Oh, wow,
I
cool.
should have told you what he said before I let you help him with this question.
No.
But I'm not gonna do that because it's Valentine's Day. So I'm gonna leave it
No,
alone.
no,
That was a great guess, and you got it right for him. You helped your husband out, which is more than I think he deserves at this
Bitches
point.
get
But that's just
stitches.
my
Okay.
opinion.
No, I hear you. I hear some of the stories. Yeah, I've heard some of the.
You
stories
heard,
that goes
right?
On in this show.
Mhm.
Yep.
But it's okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
always
Valentine's Day. You had to help your husband out, so you know that was awesome. So that was a correct answer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
wanted to meet cousin Howard. I hear a lot about him.
Oh, well, Cousin Howard had a medical emergency. I actually sent him to
What?
the ER. So I'm waiting to hear back because he wasn't feeling well and he was trying not to go, you know, and I felt that it was important enough for him to go and get checked out. So I sent
All
him
right, that's
about
good.
6 o'clock. So I'm hoping to hear back from him what they're
Okay.
saying is
I hope
going
everything
on.
is okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, we need
Okay.
to pray for him, make
You're
sure he's
welcome.
good. Thank
All right.
you.
Happy
All right.
Valentine's.
All right,
All right,
bye.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, so what this means is that we have
Lady
tied.
P, I just want you to know, snitches get stitches.
I didn't tell. You see, I didn't tell, but you know I'm going to tell her later, Ben.
You said you're going to call her later.
I'm going to call her.
Snitches
I'm going to
get
tell her
stitches.
what you
But
said.
guess what? But guess what? She'll confirm it.
Oh!
That's why I had to run and get her.
Oh, she'll confirm. Oh, because she. Oh. Yeah, but the way how you said it wasn't like she just happened to be. You said it like that's where her place
Well,
goes.
you know, I
That's
had to
how you
put that
said
I'm
it.
trying to start something.
But you know,
Well, you
it's
know,
all,
I'm trying to
it's
start
all, you
something.
know, I'm not hating because I don't want to mess up y'all Valentine's Day night because I'm over here all single in the house by myself. It's all good. You know, I'm happy for you. Oh, what's that noise?
Well, thank you.
What's that noise?
Who we getting feedback from? Is that you, Ben? Maybe? No? Okay. So because of this now we have a tiebreaker. So in the tiebreaker, whoever answers correctly first wins. So y'all need to make sure you're hearing me. You're both hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, on the show Martin, I'm sure you're both familiar with the show. What is the character that is from the Himalayas? Come on, really? Whoever answered
Oh
first.
my God! Right.
Oh my God! How y'all don't know who's from the Himalayas?
Oh, Jerome.
Yes,
Jerome.
the player from the Himalayas. Yes, that Jerome is the player from the Himalayas. Jerome in the house. Jerome in the house.
Why you
If y'all
saying all
remember-
white?
if y'all remember that character. But what that means is that even though you had your wife come after you talked about this, her place is in the kitchen, and I'm going to tell her, even though she came and she helped you and you got it right, God don't like ugly. See? God know what you did. And that's why Team Pink prevailed. In
But
the
she was.
tiebreaker.
But she is cooking.
What's she cooking? I'm coming over there. Because I ain't cooked nothing. Oh, but it's Valentine. Okay. Never mind. That's okay. But anyway, guys, great game. Great game. We know now going forward next week, Ben, I expect to see you in pink because we did win, and I have on blue for you today. So I do expect to see you wearing something pink. Both of you, great game.
Don't worry. I have a couple of pink shirts.
All right. Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. So, guys, thank you so much for being in the Battle of the Sexes. Great game, great, yay. And thanks, Charlene, for me
Thank you,
telling we really
people.
appreciate her coming and doing that for us. All right? And we'll see you next
All
week.
right.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
All right.
You'll have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so guys, yes. So as I was saying, we need to pray for Cousin Howard. He's having some difficulties. So I hope he did what I said and he went. I hope he's not still sitting at home. When we finish, I'll call and make sure that he did go get checked out. So with that in mind, we're going to go into our topic. So the topic is this. How long should you wait before having sex when dating? Should the 90-day rule be the golden standard? Naomi, you want to take this first? You look like you don't want to take it first. Okay. You want me to take it first? Okay. So the thing that's really interesting about this 90-day rule, I really honestly believe that before he wrote this book, there was something about this 90-day thing because I remember as a teenager hearing that, you know, when you get a boyfriend or whatever, if you do it before 3 months, then you'd be considered fast or whatever. And it was always like a 3. I don't know what that was about, but I remember hearing that, way back then when I was a teenager. So, he wrote this book, Steve Harvey, and he talks about the 90-day rule because that's your probation period when you start a job, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't, my opinion is that I don't think it should be set to a certain amount of days. I think that before you even get to that point, there needs to be certain things that you know about the person, that this is someone that you even want to pursue something with, because those soul ties are real, and you can get, tied up in something with someone that you find out after you went there with them that it was a bad idea, and, so I feel like, not that there should be a certain amount of days, but there should be a certain amount of things that have been accomplished before then in your knowledge of the person. And then, I'll take it way past that and go, biblical, which is you really shouldn't do it till you get married, I'm just saying. But honestly, it's that if it's somebody that you believe that you want to pursue a relationship with, you should give it enough time, because once sex happens, everything changes. It kind of muddies the water if you haven't taken the time to actually get to know the person. See if this is somebody that you could actually have a conversation with, and it's not just lust, right? So if you go there, and what I have found is that once you take that step, you can't go backwards from that. You can't say, well, let's slow down and get to know one another. So I feel like there should be a certain amount of knowledge of the person, not necessarily a certain amount of time. I don't think it should be tied to it's got to be X amount of days or months or anything like that. It should be that there has been enough time, enough conversation to know that this is even someone that you want to pursue something with or not. Maybe, you just want to jump off. I mean, but you need to know what it is that you want, what you want to come of it, and hopefully see that this person is on the same page and they're not going to be a stalker if you weren't really trying to be serious. All these things you kind of want to get to know the person and their personality and whatnot before taking that route. So that's my thought. Jamie, in some kind of way, you got a poor network and your video fell out. I don't know if your audio is still in, but there's no video for you.
I got full bars right on mine.
Okay, well, for some reason, I have no video. I hear you clearly, and I see, like, all the bars, but there's no video. And it says poor network for me. I don't know. Is it saying the same thing for you, Naomi? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, while we wait for you to sort out your video, because it is something, I'm not sure what's causing it. I don't believe it's on this end. I can't think that it could be on this end. So, Naomi, would you like to share your thoughts on that while we hopefully wait?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I kind of echo a lot of what you said, Lady P. I think there should be some time in getting to know the person before you do enter into sexual relations. All the reading, all the relationship experts, all of the training that we get in the realm of intimacy and keeping relationships function centers around getting to know the person that you're with before you get to that level of intimacy. And it's for a lot of the reasons that you said, but also for yourself in terms of knowing, is this who I want, and the soul ties that come with it. But also, if it's not what you want, it's oftentimes hard to get out of a relationship once you've crossed that bridge of being intimate and having sex with your partner. So giving yourself that time is key. And giving your partner that time is key.
Right.
And like you say, Lady P, some people just all they want to do is just have, a quick one-off and go on.
Right.
And that's a whole nother conversation. But
Right.
just in terms of dating, give yourself some time to know the person. And only you know what that is, but give yourself some time. We know that 90 days is a preferred time.
And you know
and
what?
it's situational.
I think it's a preferred time because people can fake the funk but so long. They can portray themselves in a certain manner, but they can't do it indefinitely. And maybe that's part of the whole thing where if you give it enough time, you have more chances for different situations to come up and kind of see how they react in situations. Because people will show you who they are, but they may not do that initially. It may be, that because one of the things that guys love to have, well, what are you looking for? What do you want? So that then those things, and they take in mind, well, let me, show that of myself where it may not be genuinely who they are. And I mean, I can't say it's only guys because I'm sure it happens to men where
it's both ways,
where women do the same thing, that, they hear what it is that the other person says that they want. So either partner, and they portray themselves to be that person because they want to be in a relationship, but you can only do it but so long. You can only fake the funk but so long. So if you give it enough time, they're gonna slip up. and who they really are is gonna come out. So, and you won't be living with regrets that, why did I do that? Or worse than that, because in these days, dating is so different than, back when I was younger. My first dude that I dated, I think 16 to 21, married him at 21. And then when I got divorced at 30, the next person, I ended up marrying him, which was my baby daddy. But, I've always been in like long-term relationships, and, now like the dating game is totally different. I'm 51 and it's totally different, folks. I mean, maybe they used to lie like that back then, and I just didn't come across the ones that did. But, it's totally different, and you really, really need the time for the truth to come out, because the truth is the one thing that will stand up over time. Truth about who they are, what they're about, what they really believe in, not what they're saying, what they think you want to hear, in time.
Well, I want to add on to it too. It's also, it's both ways. We both come to the relationship putting our best foot forward.
We should.
And so we put up with things that we may not want to put up with later on. And we need time to really see, okay, you know what, this was funny the first 5 times you did it. But
no more.
It's not funny anymore.
Right.
And the person that you're with is wondering what's going on, because this is what she likes, so I'm going to keep giving it to her.
Right.
So I think it's both ways. It's not that someone is necessarily trying to deceive you all the time. It's that they're trying to put their best foot forward. And we need time to settle in to understand the best foot forward is not what happens all the time.
True.
And I think that's what it's time to do. It's time to actually release in a conversation, in a relationship, and be a little bit more of who you are all the time, rather than who you are at the beginning.
True.
And that's what it gives.
And what you said is key, because a lot of times, not just that you're right, not that just that the person is trying to portray themselves to be who you say you want, but then a lot of times, because maybe whatever your reasoning is for wanting to be in a relationship, they do stuff that just make you sick, but then you're like, well, I'd prefer to deal with this than be by myself. And then when time goes on and you can't deal with it anymore, and they're like, well, they're confused because you didn't have a problem with it before. And I remember, now this is, again, back when I was young, the same, first guy that I started dating freshman in college, and he went away to school after 2 years. I stayed. So while he was away in school, it was things he did that got on my nerves. But I was like, well, I only see him, every few weekends. I'm not going to pick a fight over this thing. So that went on for like the 2 years that he was away. So when he came back and we got married, and I was like, check this out. What you not going, and he was like, well, you didn't have a problem with it before. And it was true because I chose not to. Now, again, this was me being young because I was like 20, but I chose not to have an issue with certain things because I wanted to keep the peace, because it was like long distance. I wasn't seeing them that often. And then when the reality of day in, day out set in, then it was like, okay, I don't like this. And, so then there was like a disconnect there too. So that happens as well. Jamian, your thoughts, please?
We still talking about the sex thing?
Yes, we're still talking about the topic. How long should you wait?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's the time limit. I don't think you should say, oh, I have to wait 3 months, or oh, I have to wait a year, or unless if you're saying like I'm not gonna do it unless I'm married, that's different. Like that's a totally valid choice, and any choice is valid. It's your body; you can do what you want with it. Mm-hmm. But I would say. Like going into a new relationship, setting up overarching rules is I don't know. It's not. Every relationship is different, so there might be somebody you don't. There are girls that I dated that had long-term relationships that we didn't have sex for like a year, maybe more. Then there are girls I slept with on the first night and still had long relationships with. It's the person. And I think as long as you're being respectful and you ain't, crossing nobody's boundaries, as long as you ain't forcing nobody to do nothing they don't want to, every relationship's going to be different. So, it's your prerogative. If you decide you want to do the 90 days, fine. I just know me, when I approach a relationship, I approach it as this relationship, not every relationship. So for me, it just depends on the person. Some people, I'm like, you know what? Depending on where I am in my life, maybe I don't want to be having sex with anyone right now. Maybe I want to just get to know some people and see what happens. Or maybe I'm trying to knock everything off. So communication and everything is important, but just knowing yourself and what you want, and and standing by that, regardless of what the other person tries to tell you is right or force you into.
Right. So, yeah, definitely, it's situational. It depends. I, think that you should know something about them before you decide to go there. Just because it's stuff out there, I'm just saying, and I'm sure it was stuff out there when I was younger, but oh my Jesus. Now, you're talking to someone, getting to know them, and you're like, okay, can I see your HIV test that you know what I'm saying? Because it's so much stuff that's rampant. And then it really just came to mind because of conversations I had with some people that you can't just even ask for that. You need to, let me see if I remember you need an STD screen on top of an HIV, before you even go there, because folks be lying, and it's stuff out there that you get that you can't give back. That there's no cure for, and it's. I'm just saying, it's kind of scary, really, when you think about the possibilities of stuff that someone may unintentionally, or maybe they never found out themselves. I don't know, but it's just, whew. The whole thing is kind of just scary. I think the more time you take to kind of get to know the person, but I think Jamian has a good point, to actually know yourself and what you're looking for in this particular season, because maybe in this season in your life, because of whatever has gone on, you're not really trying to be serious, but you just have physical needs that you want to deal with. Or maybe in this season in your life, you want something long term. It depends, but actually knowing yourself and knowing yourself where you are right now, and then once you know that, then going forward, that would determine, you know, how long it takes to know the other person, where you feel comfortable enough that if you want something long-term, that this is going to be long-term or not, you know. So I think we all basically are saying the right things. Oh, let me see. So we have a comment in the chat. It says, so now you got to worry about COVID, STD, etc. Just wear a mask and condoms, LOL. Woo, you got a mask up and glove up, Jesus. But yeah. So I mean, this whole era of dating is like so different. To me, it's foreign from what, you know, I've been used to, because, you know, every time I've done the whole dating thing, it ended up being long term. First dude, I married him almost 10 years. The second one, married for 12 years. The next one, I was actually engaged to and about to get married. You know, so I've never done the short-term thing. So for me, it's like different, and, you know, I'm nervous, and I just need to make sure that certain things, just because I guess of the things that I've experienced and what I know I don't want to go through. But for everyone, it's different. It depends on where they are in their walk, you know, what it is that their needs are at the present time, right? So I think if we're done with that, we can move on to our letter. Are we good with that? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So the letter goes like this. Dear Lady P, I've been married for 10 years. When I got married, I always heard the phrase, start the way you mean to continue. When we were first married, we had sex like rabbits. My husband was a provider, and I took care of household items. Fast forward to 10 years from that date, we have 3 children under the age of 7 that I'm responsible for getting to and from school and daycare and doing homework, and also making all the meals and cleaning the house for. Definitely more than I anticipated 10 years ago. Well, due to the economy, especially with the pandemic and because of financial reasons, I have had to re-enter the workforce and actually work full-time in order to make ends meet. The problem is that my husband expects me to give him sex as it was in the beginning before children, and also take care of all the cooking and cleaning, even though I had to enter the workforce full-time due to his having his hours cut to part-time hours. I've tried to have a conversation with him many times about helping with the children, housework, and nothing changes. I'm very frustrated, and then the icing on the cake is after a long day when all I need is sleep, he's trying to have sex, and has gone on to say that all his married friends are getting it multiple times daily, and almost threatens me to say that if I don't give it up, he'll be forced to get it elsewhere. At this point, I'm ready to say, go get it elsewhere and bounce, and have whomever he finds take my place and also help with the kids on the weekends so I can have peace and quiet. Yes, I am ready to be on my own, since I feel I am doing it on my own anyway, and at least he would have the 3 kids on the weekends and I could relax. What should I do? Signed, I'm Audi 5000G. Translated, I'm out of here. Woo, that's a lot. So, Jamian, would you like to give us your take on that first?
Nah, let Naomi go first.
Oh.
Naomi?
It's a lot. She's packing around a lot. I think there's a lot of frustration in her. If she's been with him 10 years and she's just now having to work for the first time in those 10 years, that's frustration right there. The fact that his hours have been cut, he's always been a provider, and now his hours have been cut, making her have to go in. And that's frustration right there. And then coming in and not having time with and having to take care of the kids and cook and everything. That's frustration there. What I know from talking with men is that if for 10 years you've been cooking and cleaning, it is hard to change that habit. It's not impossible, but it is hard because it's just a habit. It's just what you're accustomed to. And then the part about his friends having saying that they're getting sex multiple times a day. If they've been married 10 years and they still getting sex multiple times a day,
they lying.
But having 3 kids, she just seems like she's overwhelmed right now with all of this newness, with all of this change, and really managing your relationships during change is hard. People are having problems with COVID when nothing has changed about their relationship but COVID. And you add these things, my husband's hours are reduced, and I have had to take a full-time job. Now, I'm not sure where she is, that she's still taking kids to the daycare and going into work. I don't know what kind of job she has, if that's stressful. But she has a lot of stress, and I think she may just need to see if she can just get a weekend or something to just kind of exhale, to really see how she can manage this and what managing it really means. Do you cook up some meals and therefore something is cooked when your husband comes home? If you decide that if y'all can't talk about it and you decide that you want to leave, where does that put you? Because you're having to go to work for financial reasons to start with. So we always look at getting out when we don't look at what getting out means, and realizing that sometimes it's easier to really take some time to work on the situation rather than just say, I'm out. You'll have him on the weekends, but will you have any money? And if his hours are reduced, can he even really help you with child support if it goes on to that? You really have to look at what is the fight, where I'm concerned. I think that you can work it out. I think that y'all really need to sit down, and when I say talk about it to come up with a solution, not to complain about it. Look, we need a solution. Do you even want to be having sex with him every day? Do you still want to do it like you did, like rabbits? You know, I mean, that's the thing right there. Because if I still wanted to do it like rabbits, then we're gonna sit down and we're gonna try and figure this out. Because I'm like, I want you, I want you, but I'm too tired. So help me work this out. Help me work it out. So how are you communicating this? You know, what is it that you want? Do you want to resolve it? Then there are some ways that you can go and resolve it. You know, if you make that what's important to him important to you, if it's both of it, if the sex is important to both of y'all, sit down and work out how you can still make it happen. And then you can put in, these are some of the barriers that I'm coming across. I want to have sex with you, but I'm too tired because of this. Not get out of my way, boy. Don't you know that I've been doing this all day and now you want me to come over here and have sex too? That's not the way to resolve it. So, my take.
Jamian? I know you coming with some foolishness. I can see it on your face. What you got, Jamian?
No, I ain't got no foolishness. I would say, just for the same way you shouldn't get into a relationship for money, you shouldn't stay in a relationship because of money. Like, you know, just, I mean, if she's done, like if she's saying at this point I'm ready to go, I mean, that's a bold statement, you know, and I just wonder, because you writing this letter, because if you was ready to go, are you writing the letter to ask us, you know, how should you leave? like what clothes should you take? Like when you say, what should I do? She said, I'm ready to go. But then it does also, you know, this pandemic and everything that happened has thrown everybody's lives into chaos. And yeah, it can be a big ego hit, you know, when you used to making all the money and taking care of everything, you know, and then having to see your wife go out and get a job. That's you know, that's not easy for a lot of dudes to handle. And so for him, maybe the sex is the one sense of normalcy, you know, that one thing that they always used to do that, you know, I know if everything else goes wrong, I got this, you know, and so it might not be him I mean, he's being inconsiderate if he's not considering the fact that she's tired. So, but I'm saying he might not be purposefully, like, maliciously trying to, to abuse her or overuse her or what have you. It might be him just trying to hold on to some semblance of how things used to be. And not saying that's good. I'm just trying to come at it from his angle, too, because we don't know a whole lot about him. And I'm thinking that they've been married 10 years, and this is the first time she's really complaining. And it's really just because she's had to go back to work, and he's not able to pick up the slack. Now, then that to me says that before this, the arrangement worked. What they had worked. Like if he, even though his hours got cut, let's say the government assistance and everything was enough to where she didn't have to work. I don't know that she'd be complaining. I don't know that she'd be upset. You know what I mean? So I think it's with everything and her feeling like everything is on her now, and then on top of that, he won't say, how dare he? It could be a thing where, and he might not, she says she's had conversations with him and nothing changes. Well, the pandemic's only been for a year. So depending on when this all happened as far as, her having to get a job, thus and such, and her having conversations with him, what those conversations look like how should I say it, how conducive to an actual dialogue was the conversation. Or was the conversation one of like, you need to get up off your ass and do something. I'm tired of doing all this shit myself. And then of course he's going to be like, I'm grabbing the magazine and going sit on the toilet. Like, don't bother me, woman. Or was it, babe, look, I love you. We're going through it right now. I need your help. And so I don't know. I don't know. I would say that if the end of this letter is true, she's like, I'm ready to go. He can have the kids on the weekend, then I'll get a break. I mean, I think you need to really look at what you're asking for. Because if all you're asking for is a break, if all you're saying is, I just need a break right now. I mean, even though it's a pandemic, there are still places you can go by yourself to kind of be by yourself and get a break and just tell them, look, I don't give a damn what y'all do, what y'all eat. I'm leaving for today and tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow night. You have fun. Emergencies only. This is my number. Make it work like that. Like if you just need a release, a break, or something like that, don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. But if you are really ready to go, I wouldn't say stay just because it's easier financially. If it's really over and you really are like, I need to get out of this, then, make your plan and exit. I would say don't spring it on me. I'm always an advocate for having a conversation like, look, this ain't working for me. I'm going to start looking for a lawyer. I'm going to look for a partner, just not threateningly. This ain't to threaten you. I'm not trying to attack you or anything. I'm just telling you this is the point I'm at. Rather than just one day being like, okay, my bag's packed, I'm leaving. Like, whoa, what happened? Because a lot of times guys will be like, I didn't know you was unhappy. I've been telling you for the past.
When you started saying stuff, I just tuned you out, so I didn't really hear what you were saying. True.
Well, if you didn't hear it the first time, it wasn't important. But that's my take on it.
Okay. Well, I guess my take on it is a little different because when I got divorced, my youngest was 3. The next one was 7, and the other one 8. And my daughter was a teenager. And it was really hard. Now, what I will say is that when I was married, I wasn't, well, no, I take it back. I wasn't the only one taking them to school and all that. I was doing all of this stuff, but it just was what I did, but I guess I wasn't doing it as someone that was a stay-at-home mom. I was already working full-time, taking the kids back and forth to daycare and school. So it was never a time where I was doing all of that and wasn't working, and then had to add working into the mix. So it's a little different. I know it's a lot, but I guess maybe from her standpoint, because she was okay in her role of stay-at-home mom and all the things, she had a routine going, everything was fine. You know, she made sure kids got dropped off, she got the household chores done, and he got home, there was food there, and everything was great. And a lot of times I think people in relationships have issues because they assume the other person knows how they feel. So she would assume that, you know, he worked full time, so he should know when he came home from work he was tired. So he should know that I'm tired when I come home from work. He's not thinking about you being tired, you know, because in his mind, and Jamin made a really good point, that he potentially could be trying to just hold on to something to make him feel normal, because I think it's a big blow, you know, to the male ego after being the provider, and depending on, you know, what the stress level is at the job, you know, and she in her mind is thinking, you know, the least he could do if he's working part-time is pick up the kids or start the meal, or, you know, I come home, he's sitting there playing PlayStation, you know, and I had to bring the kids on my way home. He could have went and got them started something, you know, so by the time she opens her mouth to tell him, it's like, you know what, I'm so sick of you, you don't do blah, 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 blah. And so then now the argument starts, and nobody's listening to anyone. So then now he wants his one thing, which is his sex on the regular many times a day. So he's like, well, shoot, all my friends get, and you know that's a big old lie, because it's not true. But this is what he's throwing at her. She maybe has no frame of reference to say, well, maybe it's possible that's not true. So now they're just butting heads. There's no conversation. There's no attempt at trying to find a way to make it work. So my thought to this letter writer would be that you probably should seek individual counseling, because one thing I do know, and I've learned over time, is that you can't change anyone. You can only change yourself. So kind of, you know, go talk to someone and just talk through things. And when you hear what you're saying, you know, maybe they'll help you come up with some strategies, how maybe you can suggest, hey, honey, you know, is it possible, since, you know, you're off at this time, do you think you can, you know, pick them up so I don't have to take an hour getting home, you know, because I have to stop and pick up everyone since you're done before me? Is it any, you know, just some kind of way to do that, and then maybe after that go into couples counseling, you know, but just to talk to someone outside, because I believe, as much as she says in the letter that, you know, they've talked about it many times, they've probably had many, many arguments about it. It may have started, maybe it started like a conversation. It probably didn't even start as a conversation, because, you know, even in the letter I can hear the frustration. So, you know, once you get to the point where you're frustrated, you don't even want to hear what anyone, because maybe as you're saying stuff, that maybe he's not just talking about his friends getting it multiple times a day. Maybe he's talking about, well, you know, baby, maybe I could do this, and maybe he can't cook. So maybe he has offered, oh, Jesus, I touched something. Maybe he has offered to make a meal. She's like, that's okay. You know, but in kind of being able to step back out of the situation, because it's hard when you're in the trenches and talking to someone that does not have an opinion, or is not on either side per se, that maybe you can get through, because you've been together 10 years, you have these 3 babies, you know, and they don't need to see you arguing and all this stuff all the time. No, a solution is not to just go bounce just so I can get some peace and quiet. Yeah, maybe you go, just say, listen, on a Friday, listen, I'm tired. I'm going to go, you know, and go wherever it is that you're able to go and get some quiet till Sunday. Or maybe if you have family close by, and you kind of, tell them, you guys just need a break, you need some help with the kids, and they know, that you've gone through some financial difficulties, maybe they'll, take them for you for a weekend so you guys can just have a weekend to just kind of reconnect. Because, trying to have a conversation, you got a screaming baby. If 3 are under 7, the youngest could be months old, the next one could be 2, and maybe the other one's 6. That's some rough ages. That's sleep deprivation and all of that stuff. And if it didn't bother you being sleep deprived because you could sleep in the day when the little one slept, you can't do that no more because you're at work. So, I mean, really, honestly, just finding someone to talk to and then learning the strategies on how to communicate. I don't know if you guys are young, maybe in your 20s or 30s, depending on when the 10 years started.
10 years.
Yeah, but if they got married at, okay, I get you. They could have got married at 19. They could be 29, I'm just saying. I know people that got married at 19, but let's say, okay, you're in your early 30s, okay? It's still, if you got married in your 20s, we do know that a person is not fully mature till they're about 25. So, by the time that happened, depending on how early in your 20s, things have changed. Maybe your thoughts on things are changing. So just someone that will help you to kind of step back and just look at it from a different angle, I think would be beneficial. That's just my thoughts on it. So.
Well, one thing I just want to add that I don't want her to feel like we ganging up on her, because that's not the case. And yes, there are things this dude could be doing to make life easier and to contribute more and to be more thoughtful based on what she's saying. So I'm in no way excusing any of his behavior. I'm just saying I don't have a lot of information about him, so I'm basically going off of, not wanting to just assume he is the quote-unquote worst. Also, she knows him better than any of us. So, some people are just predisposed to handle things a certain way. Some guys, their whole thing is the wife stays home, cooks, cleans, takes care of the kids, I work. And that's how, in their mind, a family works. That otherwise it just doesn't make sense to them. Some guys are more the partnership. Like, let's sit down, let's make a plan together. When things go wrong, we need to adjust the plan, we're working together. It just depends on the type of dude you got and what his mindset is. I don't know what his mindset is and how he's looking at the relationship. Also, again, him losing his job and kind of losing his seat, so to speak, as the breadwinner, that's a rough one. And has she, addressed that with him? Have they talked about that? Like, hey,
look, they fight.
This is the plan.
You know what? You could just go with your little check.
But I'm saying, like, because that's a real conversation.
And you and your little check want to come up in here running stuff. You better stop playing with me.
No, but what I'm saying is she going back to work? Like, is this just I'm going back to work, or they, talk about like, okay, I'm gonna go back to work full time for like 6 months till your job starts coming back up, or what have you? Or is he in the process of looking for a new job? Like, I don't know what that plan is, or was it just we need money and she just went out and got a job? Which again could be a big blow to him. If they didn't have a conversation about it, and she just came home one day and said, I'm starting work tomorrow, it's like, dang, not only do I feel bad because I'm not bringing in the money, but now, on top of that, you've lost confidence in me because you done went out and got a job behind my back. Okay. And now I feel like complete and total bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, so the sex is important. So, at that point, it's like, I need the one thing that makes me feel like a man right now. Like, I don't know, but again, this is speculation because I don't know how that was handled or how that conversation went. If there was a conversation, it doesn't say. Right. I don't know. What you feeling now?
Well, I'm going back to the thing that she stressed that she was always told, so maybe it's ingrained in her, start the way you want to continue. And maybe what she's saying is, I started working, I want to continue this. This is not something that I want to continue. But because she did stress that, the whole thing is about starting the way that you want to continue. And now things are not the way that they wanted to continue, from the sex to the cleaning to who is the breadwinner to what my role is. And so so again, I really think this is about managing your relationship when things change versus changing your relationship. It's about managing your relationship. So how do we continue? How do we continue the way we started in the midst of all of this? You know, having the conversation around that, because I've always once said, start where you continue. So, like you said, Jamie, is this a temporary thing? How do we put up this? What is the goal? And really having more conversations around that, where you can flush out what's happening, you know, along the way of getting to where we want to be, where we want to continue.
Right.
You know, because the way it is now, I'm so thrown off. The only thing I can think of is I need my space and I need to get out of here, because this is not, you know, what I want to continue. So really having a conversation about what this season in their relationship means, and understanding that it's just a season, you know. And when you look at it like that, that it's just a season that we're going through, maybe you can accept it better. Maybe you can really come up with some strategies, if you want to put it in that terminology, with some strategies to help you get through this time. But it's always about managing those relationships during changing times. And COVID itself is a high, you know, it messes with the mind. Period. And so many people are finding themselves saying things and doing things that they are regretting, or that they wish they didn't, you know, in the midst of COVID. So I would just caution her to really sit down and, you know, take this what you gave us. Otherwise, you wouldn't have put it in here if it wasn't so important. So starting the way you mean to continue, just having a conversation about this. Are we meant to continue this way? Is this what the new life is, or is this just a season? And then understanding, if it's just a season, how do we move through this season together? Because we're trying to get back to the other side of continuing to have a lifestyle where both of us are happy. And that's the way that I would frame it. And that's the conversation that I would have, versus the fact that I'm tired of this, and see where you come out. Then you have some data, because everything is about data. Then you have some data to decide, okay, this is it. This is where we're headed. Do I want? This is it. Is this what I want? And that would be my advice.
And that conversation is so important, because a lot of times, men and women, we have a tendency to see a problem and just fix it. Like we just gonna do what in our mind makes sense to fix it, without taking into account what our solution does to the other person. And so what I'm doing, in essence, trying to help the situation, is actually exacerbating the situation. So while it shores up this one end, the financial side, it makes this other end, my personal relationship with my partner, even worse, because I took a situation that he or she was in that was already bad for them and made it 300 times worse. Because now all our friends, our family knows you're working full time, I'm barely working part time. And they're looking at me like, what are you doing, bro? As opposed to us having a conversation about you going to get a job, figuring out what that plan is, how long that's going to be. That's like me and Naomi was saying earlier, before. That's a whole different look. You know what I mean? Because then the whole sex thing would have been discussed. That, like, I would know you still want to be having sex and stuff crazy like that. And you'd know, look, I'm tired. Like, but you got to have those conversations. You can't just assume, okay, this is the solution to the problem. Let me go do it.
Yeah.
So it just boils down to the communication. And at this point, because there's been conversations or arguments, now it's like kind of backing up and going to basics and trying to undo some of the words that probably were said during the arguments that should not have been said. And, you know, being able to just have a mature conversation, you know, and go from there. So, I mean,
you know, one of the things when I was with me and my husband were together, we'd come up against these issues, and we would say, "Look, this is not working. This is not how we want it to be." Or I'd say, "This is not how I want it to be." Because at the end of the day, there's love there, and when you come at it from that point, I want us to be happy. I want us to, whatever the situation may have been, I put out there what we wanted together, so that both of us could see that we're not there anymore.
Right.
And then we work towards what a solution looks like. And it's not easy, but it's doable.
Right.
And that's what I want this listener to know. We're not saying that it's easy. We're saying that it's doable. Because you may have to hear some stuff that you don't want to hear. And you may have to say some things that you don't want to say, but that needs to be said in order to get past where you are now. And this whole thing, believe me, it is so... You see things so much differently when you both agree that what we are doing is for a season. And it's not going to be like this the whole time. Because that way, both of you, in your own ways, are working towards making sure that it doesn't stay this way, that it gets to whatever it is that y'all have agreed on.
One second, Naomi. Jamie, I think whatever you did, we're getting feedback from you because I'm hearing, I don't know if you have it on two screen, but I'm hearing some feedback.
I don't know. Is that me?
I think it was because I think it's gone.
Whatever it was, it just stopped. Whatever it was.
Yeah. Okay.
It stopped.
Yeah.
Well, that's me muting it. My phone died, so I had to grab my tablet. I don't know. I don't use the tablet very often for this, so it might not be that great. But I would just say this.
No, you sound good. You're coming through clear.
And actually now it sounds like it might be... Talk again?
Talk again. Talk again. Talking. Talking.
Talk again.
Talking. Well, I was just going to say, right now, the nice thing about COVID is all these, there's a ton of, most medical insurances and everything have included a mental health component. Mm-hmm. And you have psychiatrists, therapists, psychotherapists right now that you can see for free or either very small, copay. Because I think when two people keep trying to have the same conversation and not get anywhere, you need somebody else to be able to look at you and say, she's saying this, but he's hearing this. And I know he's hearing this because his argument doesn't address what you think you're telling him. But without that other person looking at the situation and being able to suss that out, they're going to keep having the same conversation and not getting anywhere. And he don't listen to me. Well, you're not saying what you think you're saying, and he's not hearing what he thinks he's hearing. And then when his response is not really based on what you think, it's not coming from the place you think it's going to, there's just, just that vicious cycle of getting worse and worse and worse as they continue to wind each other up. So that's why it's important, and it's not a knock on you guys. It's not any kind of thing to look down upon or look bad, anything. It just means that you need someone to look at this from outside and be like, oh, I see. So you think this puzzle piece goes here, but this actually goes over here. You just can't see the whole picture because y'all right there in it.
Right.
So I would just say look for those because right now on Zoom, there are a ton of online psychiatrists and just therapists. Find somebody y'all both respect, and then just have a session or two just to see if it helps.
Yeah.
And I
Naomi.
say I wouldn't go to a friend because there are biases. Even if they don't admit it, there are still biases in there inherent. And I wouldn't go to a family member because again, biases. So go to someone completely outside of the situation who has no idea about either of you.
Right. Yeah. Damien, if you mute. Naomi, do you have any?
No, I think we've pretty much. Covered it, and just hope that they can resolve.
Right. Exactly. So, letter writer, we hope that you take our advice, which is basically find someone to talk to. I would say first by yourself, and then as a couple, and come up with solutions. I mean, problems abound. They do. But really, at this point, 10 years in, 3 kids in, you want to come up with a solution where you'll both be happy family life. Life is short, man. And we want to encourage you to go that route, because then at that point, you can, even as you're talking to someone, you're kind of hearing some of what you're saying. Because sometimes in your mind it makes a whole bunch of sense, and then when you say it out loud, it sounds kind of crazy. I'm just saying. So we encourage you to go that route, and we wish you all the best in your family situation. This COVID is not going to be forever, and as you guys talk through everything, understand that, whatever you come up with is a game plan for a certain time. Put time frames on. Maybe we're going to do this for X amount of time. We'll revisit it, and just kind of work through it that way. You want a different result, you got to do something different, because keep doing the same thing and expecting something different is never going to happen. And what you don't want is the regret of making a decision in anger, and then finding yourself on the outside like, dang, he done moved on. Now they got a big happy family, and I'm sitting outside as the bitter ex-wife. You don't want that. Try to work through it, and because I've heard big, huge, ginormous problems. These are pandemic related, and these can be worked through with communication, active listening, and having conversation. And, that's what I would recommend. And I think we're on the same page as far as finding the right person to talk through this. And, maybe, you get enough out of it that you can go back and try to have that conversation. But if not, then have that same person or persons talk to both of you together and come up with a game plan. So, that's where we are. It's been a great show. We went a little over. I had promised we would be on time, so it's my fault. I apologize. It was a great show. I thank you both for making the time to come on here tonight and do this show. And I just really hope that our letter writer got something from this. I hope that someone else who heard the show got something from this, because this is why we're here. So I'm going to wish you both a happy Valentine's Day for the rest of the day. It's 7:23 there, so you still have some more time today. It's 8:30. I'm waiting for my kids to come home so I can go sleep because I'm tired. But that extra hour makes a difference. And we will see you next week. We have a interesting topic. I think we were talking about it on Facebook. That's going to be our topic next week. So I think that's going to be very interesting. So I thank you both, and have a great evening, great week, and we're going to see you next week.
All right, stay warm, Jamin.
Oh, is it cold up there? Is it cold?
We got an ice storm.
In Houston, it's very cold.
You got ice? Oh my!
No, we
Locked down, not because of COVID, but because of the ice storm. They closed everything, locked everything down.
Oh my goodness! Wow! And it was 87 today. We are actually unseasonably warm, because what was happening from like January, every weekend we would get like a cold spell, and for some reason it stopped last week. So we've been like above normal
nothing to eat in a year. Man, yeah, I just had this Whataburger. It was okay, but I wish it would have had pickles. It was just a Whataburger though. That's green.
What did you have?
You had a Whataburger? No, because we're not hearing you.
It was just rude. You talking about 87 degrees there, and I'm telling you we in an ice storm. I said, that's like somebody saying, I ain't had nothing to eat in 6 months, and you like, well, I just had some Whataburger. I wish I would have had pickles, but...
Listen. So, I grew up in Detroit. We had ice storms. We had it so cold that when your nose run because it's cold, I had icicles in my nose. So, I've dealt with that, the ice storms, the snow, the ice, and... That's why I'm not in Detroit, and so I can feel what y'all are going through, and I'm sorry I didn't know. I knew like up north had it cold. I didn't realize that it was as far south as Houston that you guys are getting.
Well, the thing is, up north, they prepare for it. They have roads built for it. They have
not
homes
everywhere
built for
up
it.
north. Detroit.
We don't have that.
So you have no like
We
sand
don't-
to put on the roads. Can't hear
We
you.
don't. This is not something that happens.
Can't hear you.
Happy Valentine's.
Oh, you got.
Oh, you can't hear me?
You got.
My tablet.
Okay.
Tablet is about.
Got you. Your tablet's about to die. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Bye, Jamien. And Naomi.
So
So y'all aren't prepared for the.
We aren't prepared as a city to handle it. Now,
Got you.
anywhere else it would be fine, but as a city, we're not prepared.
And how
to
long?
handle this
How
type
long
of
are you
weather.
guys having this weather? Do they know?
They're thinking through Wednesday.
Jesus. So everybody's like
Yeah.
shut out and stuck in their houses till Wednesday. Wow.
Yes, for the most part. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So,
So-
do you have enough, provisions in your house and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone, the stores have been a madhouse and everything. People trying to get in and get stuff, but supplies are good.
Okay.
Everything's good. Supplies are good and stuff.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, can't wait till next week for next week's show.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. That topic is going to be interesting. I'd like to see Jamien's thoughts on it. I know Cousin kind of had commented on it, but Jamien's not on Facebook right now. So he never saw it to even, comment. So it'll be interesting to see his take on it. And as well the comments
Yes.
that we'll get, in the chat. So,
Please give Cousin Howard, our best,
I will.
and keep us up to date on him.
I will send out a group text when I talk. Because when I come off of here, I'm going to call and check on him and see what's going on. And I'll keep you guys posted on what's going on with him.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay, so we see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, guys. That just scared me. I didn't realize it was that loud. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening in on the New Relationship Show. I hope that you were able to take something from it. And we will see you this time next week, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.
96.2, the smooth Grown Folks Radio with Lady P.